What up? It's D&D in the building. Purdue power. No ceiling. Yeah. Double D back, that's Derek and Dalton. Talking gold blood, Mackey been molten. Black and gold dreams, banners we folding. Paint crew loud, every rim gets swollen. Stats so clean, you think it's a scheme. History books get Purdue screen. From humble to E-Day, legends on replay. We run through March like it's just another weekday. Double the energy, talking that legacy. Boiler boys cooking, no recipe. Microphone magic, rivalry static. We breaking it down, keep it cinematic. You want the heat, better tune in fast.
Hello, welcome back to the Double D Podcast. My name is Derek, and as always, you'll see my co-host Dalton over there. We have a special guest today. This is Sam from Bench Points Podcast. Make sure to check them out, give them a like and subscribe. He is a Purdue fan that has a basketball podcast with a couple fans from other fan bases, so check them out. They do great work over there, and we appreciate him hopping on. Thank you, Sam. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. I'd be careful throwing around that G word. We're not quite great yet, but we try. I think we get on a couple times a week and prove that podcast equipment should be more expensive. So, but one thing we do like is watching college basketball. So it's a fun little hobby for us. We're not like, sleepers or Field of 68. We have full-time jobs, but we give it hell. So
feel you there. So we're going to be recapping the Purdue-Iowa game. Purdue wins 79-72, and what was one of the best atmospheres I've been in inside of Mackey Arena myself. It was electric in there for the last 12 or so minutes, and Purdue pulled it out. No other way to put it. It was a hard-fought game, a tight game, one that for stretches it felt like Purdue was definitely not going to win. Me and Dalton had a little come to Jesus moment there in the second half of like, damn, this is going to end up being a pretty terrible experience, and that sucks. And I've had a few too many of those in my life at Mackey, but luckily this one turned the other direction, and it ended up being a really awesome experience. So, Dalton, I'll go to you first. What were your initial thoughts on the game and just being in Mackey, having the students back, and the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, atmosphere was electric. You know how I feel about Mackey. It's its own entity. It's alive. It is not just a stadium. It is a living organism. Excuse me. But it was cool, man. We sat lower level, which I've never done. I kind of want to go back up to my normal spot. Wasn't a huge fan. It was cool, to watch it from that close, but you can't see the plays developing down there as well. I don't feel like I couldn't see what was going on the other side of the court, so maybe I'm just supposed to be in the upper bowl. Sam, what do you think, man? How was last night for you?
So, yeah, I didn't watch it at Mackey, unfortunately. I had my 2-year-old with me. My wife was at the Pacers game watching them get the absolute break speed off of them. But, yeah, so, watching this with a screaming toddler was an experience. I mean, it was like I was in Mackey, but just in a hellish version of it.
Similar.
But there was a point in the second half where I texted my co-host on Bench Points. I was like, hey, this is pitiful. Like the TKR turnover, I'd say TKR turnovers, that Cluff TKR combo there, where he kind of just jogged down the court and we went down 9. In my exact text message during that moment was, we need a Braden Smith moment. But to your point, that when you watch Purdue basketball games on TV, you can feel the presence of that crowd, especially when the student section's there. And it's like, I've got an okay sound system with my TV, and it just booms whenever Mackey's rocking. So that last 12 minutes had my house shaking, and actually calmed my kiddo down because he was watching the TV like something horrible was happening. It kind of was, but we got through it. So
awesome. Yeah, Dalton, you're definitely an upper bowl guy. I'll say that right now.
I didn't
and Sam,
like
watching a game with a 2-year-old or a bunch of toddlers, that sounds like Assembly Hall, if you ask me. So I just want to point a couple quick things out. Let's jump real quick into that TKR situation, because it's been a point of contention, obviously, on Twitter and internet, and even in some of the other podcasts and stuff. Definitely seemed like a crazy weird game for TKR from the jump. We were third row, so you're basically eye to eye with a lot of these guys, and I don't know if he was maybe sick or a little under the weather or his girlfriend dumped him. I don't know, but he just seemed off most of the game. For certainly that play specifically where Cluff throws in the ball is a bad pass on Cluff, and he's kind of getting out of it here with the TKR being the scapegoat on that play. But TKR takes basically half a step the other direction and lets a guy walk in for a dunk. Like, I'm not saying in that situation where you have 2 fouls, you need to go be aggressive, but you got to make the guy at least worry that someone's behind him and make it somewhat interesting. That to do that at home in front of the Mackey crowd seemed egregious to me. Sam, what were your thoughts on, that and just that kind of moments of that effort, kind of felt a little bit like Braden in the first half was gassed more than normal. I don't know if there's a bug going around or what it is.
So it wouldn't surprise me to find out that half the team was sick yesterday, based on the first half effort. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying that's an excuse. That was not a Purdue effort by TKR. But one of the things that, he had a rough game. He still scored 12 points. He clutched up a couple big free throws towards the end of the game. He had that big bucket. When it was like a slugfest back and forth. He just had really bad moments. And the TKR that we have this year is completely different than the product we had last year. And I'll be honest with you, I'm actually here for it. The rebounding is where it's at. I don't care if TKR scores 20 points. He can score 11. He could score 8. He could score 6 for all I care. It's his intensity on the offensive glass that's really made the difference this year. And so, whenever I see the panic meter going up on TKR, he's been level for most of this season. This was just a bad-headed game. I don't think he was there mentally. He might have been sick. But my alarm isn't ringing off the charts for him right now. Because what he's doing for this Purdue basketball team is really drawing a lot of the attention from the front court defenders and even some of the on-ball guard defenders. That's creating some openings on the perimeter and for Cluff and for Jacobson. You see, they're eating. They're CJ Cox has been on the receiving end of 8 TKR assists for threes in the corner. Cluff, he gets a dump down twice a game from TKR. Jacobson gets a lob once every game from TKR. It's those little things that don't show up on a stat sheet that TKR is doing that I really like. But yeah, for that being at Mackey in that moment and Iowa being on the run to show that effort, not a great look. And it really showed up in his minutes. He had 23 minutes in this game, and that's a pretty low number for a possible All-American. Probably not this year, though.
Yeah, definitely a first-team guy, potentially if he kind of gets a little bit more scoring. But totally agree with a lot of what you just said there. I'll kind of set you up on a TKR thing here, Dalton. So he did only have 2 rebounds in this game. I think that kind of was also behind a lot of the discourse was he shows that kind of effort. He's not getting rebounds. It was just one of those games. And I totally agree with you that, now if this continues, which I don't think that it will, then yeah, maybe we sound the alarm. But for me, this is a one-off game. I'm sure there were circumstances that led to it. But Dalton, we kind of saw it, and the crowd around us was kind of getting angry at it, where there was 2 or 3 times in the second half where he got a pass basically with an entire lane in front of him open. And instead of just running to the basket and shooting it, a layup and being physical, he shoots a 12 to 14-foot push shot, misses, I think, 2 or 3 in a row. What are your thoughts on this? Because last year, that's not what he did. He did shoot some push shots, but a lot of times it was more over the left shoulder hooks or dribble back and forth, go to the rim. You just aren't seeing him attack the rim at all.
Yeah, I've been saying this, and I'm the nuclear option here. Is I am concerned about TKR. I'm gonna disagree because his confidence looks shook on offense. The man, he just doesn't look like he knows which way he wants to go most of the time. It's is the double coming? They're dropping doubles on him as soon as he puts the ball on the floor, and I know that's a challenging spot to be in. He had a turnover last night where they hit it out of bounds, but it's he's such a big frame against, even looking at him against, a couple of their guys that are bigger last night. They've got Maniawu. Yeah, I got that right. But he's a big fella, and TKR, just his muscularity. I'm not trying to go anywhere with this, but he's a big dude, and it's I want to see the confident TKR, the physical TKR that's not afraid to bang or go up on anybody, because he did, like, at least 2 times I noticed that he had a driving lane and just took the buyout shot, the push shot. And, like, they did drop last year. He was like, when he would get it up top off the pick and roll from Braden last year, that free throw line push shot was going in a lot. But this year it's not, and we need him to be strong. And it's still, like, I think we're too far along to call it an adjustment period of playing with 2 other really good bigs. Like, we talk a lot about last year, we had First down there. Like, TKR, is going to have a lot more room to work when he's the 5 down there, and he's a lot quicker than those guys, but we need him taking force to the basket.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it too comes down to, like, maybe not an adjustment period, but I think Trey is also coming, a little come to Jesus moment himself of, like, I'm not the same production level as last year, as far as I'm not going to get 20 shots a game. Maybe he got a little used to that. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's something to monitor. If it becomes an effort thing, that's a bigger problem than just missing shots to me. He goes 4 for 10. That's not a good night for him. Whatever. If he goes 8 for 10, everybody probably doesn't even notice this. But when you don't rebound well, you shoot poorly, the mistakes get louder, and you kind of I expect him to come back in a great game against USC coming up. USC is much, much bigger, and it's going to be a battle down low. So if the effort's not there, he's going to get punked. USC has some big boys, and then athletic boys, and he's going to have to really, really focus through it. So we'll move on from Trey for now. We'll go from a negative to a positive. The first half of that game, as noted, Braden Smith was not good. He said that after the game. He was, for lack of better terms, maybe his worst half I've ever seen him play outside of his freshman year. He had 0 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. Just couldn't get anything going, and that's a credit to Iowa, if I'm being honest. They played a great defensive half against him. That Banks guy had him in hell. He could not get anything going. Even passing the ball, he had some turnovers early, and I don't know if that was somewhat of a result of our bigs being in foul trouble or what it was. I don't have any excuses here for him. If you ask Braden, he's going to tell you it's on me. I should have been better. But he did come out in that second half and absolutely dominate. It was one of the most impressive second halves that I've seen from a guy who honestly looked physically exhausted for most of that. He was, because for some reason we decided that was when we wanted to put him on Bennett Sturts for part of the game, and so he's guarding Sturts on one end, coming down, having to do everything on the other end. I'll start with you, Sam. What were your thoughts on Braden Smith? That second half performance, and really just put the team on his back, in my opinion.
See, and this is going to go down to a mentality thing where I think TKR needs positive reinforcement and positive energy sent his way. I think Braden Smith needs somebody to tell him he's shit. Pardon my language, but I bet in halftime in that locker room, I bet Painter was in his crawl and staying in there for the entirety of it. And then he came out just a completely different person. This was the Braden Smith that took over in the Houston Sweet 16 game last year. This is the Braden Smith that decided that Penn State wasn't going to beat him at Mackey. This is the Braden Smith that, you put the team on his back and it's going to go places because he just doesn't have any quit in him. He went complete sicko mode in the second half. He was getting dimes to Oscar Cluff, that wraparound Manyawu, beautiful pass. He was hitting those fadeaways. He was getting to the bucket. He was basically doing whatever the hell he wanted out there. And then those couple defensive plays that he had, one was just more of a disruption than anything that kind of drug the shot clock out a little bit further than they would like it. And they kind of had that forced 3 that somehow dropped. But it was kind of setting the tee a little bit. Because then he got that, they want to say it's a foul. You go back and watch the replays of the broadcast, and it's he might have gotten away with one. That's a 50-50 ball. That hustle play where he dove and got it off Sturts. Mm-hmm. And then he gets up, and it's a moment. He high fives Painter, but then he looks at the crowd and he's like, hey, "Y'all need to get loud." And I will tell you, that guy orchestrates that building. Both the players on the floor, the players that are playing against him, and the crowd that's watching him. he is a generational player, and he's like slowly and quietly sneaking his way back into that National Player of the Year race because Cam Boozer's still putting up numbers, DeBance is still putting up numbers, but Braden Smith is controlling games. And that to me, that's louder than 23 points and 13 rebounds. It's like you got over the course of your last 3 games, I think he's averaging 20 points a game or close to it, and just under 10 assists. And I mean, he's just shredding teams. If they started keeping hockey assists as a stat, I mean, he'd have like 11 of those too. Like what he did in that second half to me is you put a star by that, because those are the games you have to win during the regular year to be set up in March. And those are the games that you win in January that prove that you can win those games in March. And I'm going to put a star by this one because what Braden Smith did was really like the changing factor in this game.
Bingo.
Yeah, well said. I agree with that. That he is just one of one. And we saw it in this game because the supposed guy that was supposed to be on his level just wasn't. There's one team that ended up winning in a close game and one team that ended up losing. One guy put his team on his back for the entire second half, and the other guy did it for about a 4-minute stretch.
Yep.
It just, to me, was pretty obvious who the better player was, and that's not to compare him, but it also is. Dalton, I'm gonna ask you real quick on the leadership side because he kind of briefly hit on it. I noticed a lot more fire and passion in the second half of that game out of Braden than you typically see. Pumping fists, getting into it, raising his hands to the crowd. Diving on the floor, just doing all of the things that you want from, your National Player of the Year contender. And these last 3 games in this homestand, he's really taken this team and put his game from, kind of passive la-de-da, get my assists and get out of the game at the 8-minute mark to I'm the guy out here. In every game, I'm the best player. And that just like flipped like a light switch. Do you think that that's just what we're going to see? That's just the normal for the rest of this year? Or do you think that that's just maybe a little bit lower competition at home, and as we get into these bigger games with a little bit better players, maybe that goes backwards. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it goes backwards. Maybe statistically, we're not putting up 20 and 10 every game, here and there. He's capable of it. I think Braden forgets who he is sometimes. I really feel that way. It's like this dude, it's like he doesn't know he's the best player in the country sometimes. He forget the whole first half. I felt that way last night. I was like, what are you doing, dude? I know they were tight on him. They were playing him heavy, and ultimately, Banks fouled out because of Braden. But it's like, if he can maintain that level, and I know that like people that are the greatest at things sometimes, they have letdown moments or, you can't be the best all the time. But I don't know. It's like there's a giant waiting to be awoken every game within Braden. It's like, when is it coming out? And at what point are you going to piss him off enough that you're about to get scorched? Like, that's how I feel every game. It's like last night, the whole first half, I felt was ho-hum. It was the whole team follows Braden. Like, our play style follows what Braden is doing. If you notice in the second half when he picked it up, Cox hits a 3 in the corner. All kinds of things just start happening. He's the engine, and sometimes you have engine problems. Like, it's not always going to run full bore. You got to take it to the shop sometimes, and I feel like halftime was that last night. Once he started going, it was over.
Yeah, to your point, I think that shop is just him getting pissed.
Yeah,
it's just like he's like the Incredible Hulk. The madder he gets, it's just turning it on.
Yeah, I think Ben McCollum made a terrible decision at the podium after this game, saying somebody just blatantly asked, very simple question, "Hey, what do you think of Braden Smith? First time you see him in person?" And he's like, he's good, but the coaching staff, that's really what makes them great. And I'm like, man, that's dangerous when you got to play him again.
Bad, buddy.
You should have done that.
Bad.
Yeah, that's going to come up on Running Point tonight. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
He's got some things to say.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to see that too because it's just one of those things where like he's one of those Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods mentality style people that you just don't need to do that. Like if I'm asked about a guy like Braden Smith, I'm going to say the absolute nicest thing possible, and I'm going to move on.
Yep.
I'm not going to give him any fuel to work with, and if he wants to manufacture some, good on him. But I'm not going to be the one that gives it to him. One quick note I wanted to mention about Smith. I don't know if they tell me if they mentioned this on the broadcast, but I kind of found it when I was digging a little bit about this game after. He tied the Big Ten assist record in league play in this game. So not the Big Ten record, but Big Ten in Big Ten games.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's an interesting stat.
Little interesting stat to throw in there. That's with still 14 Big Ten games left. So obviously he's going to be way ahead of that. But interesting stat, not a stat I even knew that was out there, but I did find it on accident almost. So
good on you. Good on you.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Braden Smith was awesome. He's always awesome. I hope to see just the rest of the season. Like you said, he's the engine that moves the ship, and the longer or the quicker he gets into this mode in every game, the better off we will be. That's one hang up I've had about Purdue all year is we do not start off games like teams like Arizona, Michigan, where you look up and it's 26-6 and the game's over. And that's going to cost us down the stretch as we play better teams if we can't learn how to get out the gate a little bit better. And oddly enough, it's been a lot at home that we've had that issue. Anybody else have anything to say on TKR or Braden? And then we'll kind of just move down the list of players here. We're not going to pull the stats up.
No, I think we nailed it.
Okay.
Speaking of hockey assists, you brought that up. We have we were toying around with ideas to grow, and like we came up with this double D stat sheet, and we made up our own stats. Like they're pretty cool. I'll send it to you after we're done.
Yeah, one of them is the Fletcher Falls.
Fletcher
How many times does Fletcher fall in the game?
Yeah. And then we had hockey assist on there because Braden just gets so many of them. And it's like, man, that's so underrated.
Yeah, it is. It is the most underrated play in basketball, in my opinion. And like the one thing hockey does 100% right is keeping track of that stat, because sometimes the pass to the pass, it just makes the play 100% better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the old extra pass thing in basketball. Like, okay, well, that guy had a wide open shot. He just made one more pass. So, but the guy that made the first pass that got the first guy wide open, it's one of those weird situations. Like, I know, like, that's one thing Fletcher gets a lot of too. And people don't realize Fletcher's value a lot of the time. They just base it on whether he's making threes. I'm not one of those guys, but we'll move to Fletcher here. He breaks his streak of, I believe, 6 or 7 in a row being the highest plus-minus guy on the team. I like to bring that up for all the Fletcher haters out there, but this game he isn't, but he's still a +3. Does get 11 points, has 4 assists. Thought his passing was excellent. 4 assists with no turnovers. Hits all his free throws. That's what you want from him. Only hits 1 3, but only shoots 3 of them. They were pretty clearly, I think one of the ones he shot to was a pretty rough shot, as far as like he had to get it up quick. And I think that was kind of obvious that they were keying in on not letting Fletcher get going from 3. But I thought it was still a productive game from him. Had no turnovers, got a couple rebounds, did little things. He drew 3 fouls, which I always like to see from Fletcher because that means he is usually being aggressive going to the basket. Did have that one crazy one where he threw it over the back of his head, and I was super mad about it. I was like, just go up straight and you'll get a foul called. But what, Sam, what were your thoughts on Fletcher's game? For me, I loved his post-game interview. I don't know if you guys saw it immediately after, and they asked him, like, whoever that girl is for Purdue that does them, and she was like, what were your thoughts on the game? And he goes, oh, it was absolutely horrible. We've got a lot to work on. This was pathetic. That was like his answer. I was like, that's my guy. Yeah. What were your thoughts, Sam, on what Fletcher brought to the table?
So I'm glad I'm not sitting here with Fletcher haters because it's my least favorite people on planet Earth. So Fletcher Loyer. So where Braden Smith is like the emotional leader of the Purdue basketball team when they're on the floor, like Fletcher Loyer is that guy that's probably going to wind up a coach. He's Charlie from Mighty Ducks. Give him the clipboard kind of deal, It's what I liked about Fletcher Loyer. Like nothing he did was pretty. He had that little like off the same leg, right leg, right shot. Floater on the baseline a couple times, hit a couple big shots towards the end, and then like that foul he drew when we were trying to close the game out was absolutely clutch. That was a Fletcher Falls moment, where I'm not 100% sure if he was fouled or if Oscar Cluff got him. Because I mean, like Oscar Cluff hit people in games that's hurt me. So
Facts.
But Fletcher Loyer, to me, like he's that guy. Like I just always want him on the court.
Mhm.
And to your point, he's a high plus and minus guy. And there's a lot of things that he does you don't see on the stat sheet either. Like that defender that was on him all night, regardless of who it was in his pocket, which, I mean, especially in the second half, really got exploited because that opened the lane for Braden Smith to get down there, for TKR to get that elbow look, for Cluff to get some of those post looks. I mean, if you watch the play where Omer Meyer had that down low bucket, I mean, the defense is basically drawn all the way out in the perimeter, and Omer Meyer's he's more athletic than the guy guarding him half the time, so he gets that quick back door, and that's not a look that he's normally going to get. But the defense is so drawn out because of the way this team is structured, and Fletcher Loyer is a key part of that, and that's why I like having him on the floor. It's sometimes he's a cone on defense, but it's like you just trust him. Even when he's shooting 30%, you still want him taking that shot. I would like to see more volume out of him, but to your point, I mean, he wasn't getting the looks.
Yeah.
But that defender being drawn out so far gave other people looks. They started to really fall in the second half. I mean, the first half I think we shot like 38% from the floor, and then the second half came out and shot 75. So yeah, I mean, big moments from the team as a whole, but like Fletcher Loyer's presence really created a lot of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Amen.
Fletcher does a lot of good things, and I wanted to point out also, for one, that you roundabout just said that Fletcher's mom's dating Matt Painter. If Fletcher is Charlie Conway, then his mom is with the head coach. So if we're just being honest here, that's the truth, and that's the way it is. Sorry,
That's not true, dude. You can't say that.
I had to put it all together, man. It is what it is. No, one thing I did want to point out, because he is a cone sometimes on defense, but in this game specifically, there was a time in the second half, kind of late, that they switched him onto Sturts. I think because of the length, and he guarded Sturts for a few possessions, and I thought he held up pretty well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Dalton, what were your thoughts on Fletcher in this game, and any takeaways that you might have from him? His shooting has been a little bit back, but it's still not what I think we want it to be.
Yeah, in conference, he's shooting 34% from three. So he's not quite where big game Fletch is, but I think he's figuring out, and also it's his senior year, so people know to push him off the 3-point line, but he's getting downhill now. And, 4 2-pointers in the last couple years probably would have been like, what's wrong with Fletcher type of game. But this year it's like, that's been my key to the game for him last few times, like get to the rim. Cause he can get downhill, but it's like last night he took that one dumb throw up shot, like you said. And I was like, man, just go, use your body there, Fletch. And I think he's still learning that part of his game. He only got up 3 threes last night, which is like, it's wild, man. But he's shooting 90% from the free throw line. So if he wants to keep driving, by all means, his free throw percentage has gone up every year. He had a 143 offensive rating on KenPom last night. So I don't know what else you can really ask out of a guy. Decent, not great shooting night, but big game Fletch is going to make an appearance here soon, and somebody's going to be on the receiving end of that, and it's only a matter of time. He heats up. I hate to say it, but it's like he'll heat up in February, and then when March rolls around, you're not going to want him on the 3-point line. It's just the way it's going to be. I'm calling it now. You can mark my words. You can clip this, whatever, bookmark it. Fletcher's going to heat up, and we'll see a 30-point game out of him in the next month or so. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big shooting night in one of these West Coast games. Just have a hunch.
Yeah.
I want to jump to your boy, Dalton. Oscar Cluff does what Oscar Cluff does. 4 for 4 in this game. 2 for 2 from the line. Perfect shooting game. Only has 4 rebounds, but he was absolutely battling out there. Did get in a little foul trouble in the first half, kind of cost him a little bit of minutes there, but still plays 22. 10 points, 2 assists. Just played a good game of basketball, in my opinion. Had a block. Obviously that one big block that got super controversial online on whether it was a foul. Stupid Iowa fans. If you're listening to this, Iowa fans, I hope you're not one of the Twitter ones. But the thing with Oscar, to me, just being at the game, is the amount of like beating that he puts on everyone around him. Like not just even his, like not even the other team, even everyone, like his own team. If you get in his way or even just run by him, something's going to hit you. And it's just a good thing to have for a Purdue team that outside of him and maybe Trey, you really don't have a ton of physicality or bulk. So he really does kind of fill that bridge there. I'll start with you, Dalton, on this one since he's your guy. What were your thoughts on Cluff in this game, and what do you think of a night like this? What he brings to the table for Purdue?
Well, just what I love about Cluff is his persistence. Like, he wasn't getting calls; they were on his back. We watched him get both of his arms held down when he was falling out of bounds on that play, by that Koch kid, Koch,
Cock.
whatever, dude. I don't like the kid, but he was holding him down. Cluff doesn't get mad. He just moves on to the next play, and that's really difficult to find in a player. Trey gets emotional when he's not getting calls. He's begging the ref. Cluff never says a word. He's going to hurt you on the next play. But
I even
he's
noticed
not gonna
Painter a couple
say it.
times, like, should we review that? And Cluff's like, I
don't care. No.
Yeah, if you want, coach.
Yeah, Cluff does what Cluff does, and he is the best portal man of the year. Hands down. Tell me one better, and I'll call you a liar. So that's all I got on Cluff. I love him. Great dude.
Sam, what you got on Oscar?
So yeah, I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. I think Cluff is like the perfect transfer pick. I was pretty high on him when he hit the portal, and I remember talking to my friends and just be like, Cluff would be a good get. As like there's rumors they're talking to him, and then next thing you know, we got him, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a game changer. And a lot of people were a little concerned, especially in the preseason where like he wasn't gelling quite yet. I was like, I just give this kid time. And I say kid, if any of y'all have been to Canada or like specifically Newfoundland, they warn you about moose. Like it's like you're driving and you hit a moose, like you're not going to hurt the moose. You'll total your car and you'll probably die, but the moose is going to be just fine. And that's what Oscar Cluff is on the court. He's just this big moose. And to your point, like I don't think he wants Painter reviewing anything that has to do with him, because you watch the way he uses his body. I mean, like he got that it's like a soft flagrant that he got against Penn State. But I mean, he is just not afraid to go hit somebody. And it's not, he doesn't care about that one foul. He's probably going to get called for it. He doesn't care about that one foul. I think he cares about the message. He's like, hey, just heads up. It's like, if you want to do this, I've got 22 minutes in me. And I'm going to spend time with a guy who's 7'4". So it's like, you're not going to get the physicality, but you're not going to be able to throw this weak shit up. So, but you can throw whatever you want up. You're going to get this physicality for 22 minutes. And that's what I like about Oscar Cluff. He just adds something different. You guys said it earlier, TKR, when you look at him up close in person, he's a big dude.
Yeah, yes.
I remember him his freshman year. Like I saw him live up close in person a couple times, and I was just like, man, he's going to be all right. And I followed him when he was in Sellersburg. But, he's a senior now. He's an adult man. This is his 5th year. He redshirted his freshman year, obviously. He's an adult man. And he's big. Oscar Cluff is big.
Yeah.
There's like lore stories of him walking around women's basketball games like in a hoodie trying to be incognito. And I'm like, good freaking luck, dude. You're built like a Mack truck. It's like nobody's going to buy that you're not Oscar Cluff. I was like, so yeah, it's when he's on the court, I love it. Not a lot of rebounds tonight, not a lot of rebounds anywhere. I mean, there was 26 rebounds total for the team. That a lot of that's tied to like over 50% shooting from beyond the arc and from the floor from both teams. So there's not a lot of love in that area, but his presence was certainly felt. Big moments, big buckets towards the end of the game, especially that wraparound, and then he got that feed from Loyer, and I think he got a feed from TKR as well. Just big moments for Oscar Cluff, especially in the second half.
Yeah. I kind of was. Oh, go ahead.
It's like Edie when he was sitting at that bar wearing the bucket hat.
Yeah.
Like trying to be incognito.
Do you remember when I got that picture of him at the Pacers game?
Yeah, him
and he had
wearing the
sunglasses and
sunglasses.
a hoodie on, and it went
Yeah.
viral because somebody took it from my Twitter.
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
Hilarious.
yeah, no, Oscar Cluff is, like you said, the best transfer. I mean, there's transfers out there averaging more points and better stats, but as far as importance to a really good team, he has an argument to be the best transfer out there. And he's 6'11", but he's 6'11" and standing like the hunchback. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he got to be bigger than that. You just see him and you're kind of in awe. Like, man, that's I don't even know. Is that a human? I'm not sure, but he's awesome. I love what he does, and it does always seem like his baskets are worth more. I don't know why. Like when he scores, it almost feels like it's worth 2.5 points. Just kind of one of those weird situations. All right, we'll jump to the last starter, CJ Cox. Another game where he's just proving that he is fully a starter-worthy player at this point and should be playing 25 to 30 minutes a game. Kind of was surprised he only played 22 in this game. But, with the physicality and size of their guards, I just think him and Jakari kind of had to split more minutes just with how hard it was to stay with those 6'7" wings that they have. And Bennett Sturts runs nonstop all over the place. So CJ Cox, at least in the first half, did have Sturts in the bag of Cox. He was completely tied up there for the whole first half. It might have been one of his worst halves too. It's weird. You come into this game with this huge point guard argument of two best point guards in America potentially, and the first half goes on and you're like, yeah, so much for that. And then the second half happens and you're like, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But CJ had a good game. Knocked down all the free throws at the end. He's just seems so calm, cool, collected in those big moments when he needs to make a bucket. Hits that huge 3 with 2 minutes left off a great pass from Trey. It's just like the guy only takes 4 shots in the game and probably hits the biggest 3 of the game with 2 minutes left to get us from up. I think we were up 1 to up 4 or up 2 to up 5. It got us to that next step, 2 to 5. Yeah. And then makes all 4 free throws for a guy who only gets 4 shots the whole game. He just is made for those moments. He's made for that stage. 2 rebounds, 11 points, 4 assists. 1 assist. Again, doesn't have a turnover. This is a 10th straight game without a turnover. It's becoming a bit absurd, actually, at this point. Oddly enough, was the only guy with a negative plus minus on the team. I was kind of shocked by that. But Sam, what were your thoughts on CJ? We don't talk to you a lot. So what are your kind of overall thoughts on his role on the team this year?
So, going into this year, I thought CJ and Harris would be a 1A, 1B. And I do think CJ's separated himself. His defense, his on-ball defense is NBA level. He is that good. You put him against the best player on any team, and he's going to handle it. So I really like that part of his game. And then his shooting consistency has been fantastic. That 3 he hit at the end of the game that put us back up 5 was huge. I mean, Mackey blew up, and it was right after that Banks bank 3 with a second left on the shot clock. So it's Purdue did everything right. They go down and hit a 3 to cut it back to 2. So you're like, oh, here we go. They're getting these shots to drop like crazy, and then CJ hits a corner 3. And as soon as he caught it, you knew it was this is a bucket right here. And that's what I love about CJ. We talk about Harris. I am a huge Jakari Harris fan. I love it when he's in the game. I wish he was a little bit more consistent offensively, but he was part of that Cluff block and turnover on the sideline there. He created a lot of that. He kind of pulled the chair out from under him, and then when the block happened, he drew the offensive player towards the ball. I mean, it was just it was perfect. And those are the moments where it's it justifies Jakari Harris getting 19, 20 minutes as opposed to CJ Cox getting closer to 30, because they're both going to work their ass off for 40 minutes. If you put them in, but they need that little break. And fortunately enough, their skill sets are very, very close. But I 100% agree with what you guys said last week during the Penn State recap. Is CJ just separated himself. This is another 3-star find that Matt Painter found that nobody else wanted, and he's out here proving that he belongs on the starting lineup of a Big Ten team, not to mention a top 5 team. He's been doing it for 2 years now. he's one of those guys when the transfer portal comes, I'm going to be holding my breath because I don't want him to leave, and I don't think he will. I am afraid that Jakari Harris will, because with some of the guys coming in next year, there's not going to be the minutes, there's not going to be the rotation room. But really love these two. Fantastic game for both of them. A lot of their stuff didn't show up on the stat sheet either, but really like what I saw, especially in the second half. That first half was a dud,
Yeah.
but yeah, that second half magic.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was gonna say, I don't think there's really a world where CJ would leave because he's gonna step into that role. But if Jakari gets any feeling or inclination that, and this isn't a show about but that West is going to take his minutes, I don't see how he would want to stay. But we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But I agree with you on both of them. Their defense collectively was excellent. Jakari seems to be more of a guy who's not going to show up in the stat sheet. CJ's got a little more versatility to his scoring ability when it comes to the mid-range, being able to ISO and go get his own if he needs to. Jakari kind of has to play off other people or in transition, and Purdue doesn't play in transition a lot. So I don't think you're ever going to see a ton of points out of Jakari, at least in this system with Braden. But down the road, if he does stick around, you might see that with a different lineup and things along those lines. But right now, I think where they're at's fine. We had to have one of the two separate themselves because you can't be in a complete timeshare if you want to go to a national title. You've got to have guys that you can rely on and count on and depend on at the end of games. And I think that they found that in CJ Cox. Dalton, what are your thoughts on CJ and Jakari? We can just lump them together like we normally do because this was a closer game to a split. Here we go.
Yeah, CJ, just a great game for CJ. I'm a big CJ proponent, man. I just think he'll be a leader through and through these next couple years. Really excited at what he's doing. He's just so efficient. I mean, he has the second highest efficiency rating offensively on the team behind Cluff at a 160 on KenPom. I mean, the guy just doesn't make mistakes. Like, I don't worry when he has the ball ever. And if he decides he wants to shoot it, he's the one guy that I'm like, let it fly. Let it fly, man. Even with Fletcher on the court, there's sometimes I'm like, did we need that shot? It is never that way with CJ Cox. When the ball goes up, I'm like, hey, even if he misses, it was a good shot. He never takes bad shots.
Yeah.
Like, they're not forced. He's not trying to do something outside of his own game. And that's what I really appreciate about him. He doesn't get enough credit for his offense because his defense is so tough. Like, he moves his feet. He's so quick laterally, like, to stay with some of the guards that he's had to guard this year. And his conditioning is so underrated. No one ever talks about that. The dude never looks like he's slightly out of breath guarding the other team's best player every game.
Yeah. 94 feet too most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, and he picks up like PJ all the way down, so it's pretty awesome to watch CJ evolve and grow into who he's becoming. Jakari, I thought he was a huge proponent last night. He added a little bit of physicality when we need it. He's a bigger boy, than CJ, so when he's in there, you feel him. Those guards feel him a little more than CJ. He's more finesse. Jakari's more of a kind of an Oscar Cluff if he was a guard. He's a boulder. Like, when he ran to that out of bounds play where he got thrown down, like, you knew that was a foul because he's 210 pounds. You had to move him to throw him down. Like, no question on that. Yeah, just Jakari's not as consistent because we don't run like we did last year. We ran a lot last year. We moved up and down. We would get out and transition because we had first as our 5, sometimes our TKR, and we're smaller. We got to run. This year we play a slow pace, so Jakari is not benefiting from that. He doesn't look comfortable on the three-point line. He wants to pump fake when there's nothing to pump fake. Either let it fly or get rid of it. Like, because he's not driving too much this year, and I'm a big Jakari fan, but yeah, I have the same fear as you, Sam. Like, I don't know if he'll be around.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, down the stretch, he's gonna play a huge role against teams with big guards.
I'll tell you again, a hockey assist, the pass to Benner, then Benner to Jakari right there at the end of the second half, where he got that open look. That was a Jakari 3 that I was comfortable with. Like when he took, like there's sometimes where he shoots, especially his mid range, you just kind of cringe a little bit, as opposed to Cox, where you're just like, yeah, this is gonna be a kiss off the glass. It's gonna look good. Jakari's mid range game just doesn't seem to be there, but that 3 in that moment, like I was happy he took it, because to your point, that's a classic Jakari pump fake and then go for a yip layup. And then he just stuck that 3 and it wasn't a big moment. So
Right.
happy to see that drop for him. I was at the
Yeah.
Auburn game and kind of watched him, and I was like, man, I really hope this is the breakout game for Jakari. So it looks like he's starting to level back out and shooting kind of like he did the second half of last year. So hopefully this continues.
Yeah, thought he had a good game. I mean, he ended up being the highest plus minus on the team at +9. That's not everything, of course, but it does show in 18 minutes that he was valuable on the court, at least to some degree. So, Daniel Jacobson, we'll kind of lump these last 3 in together and start kind of rounding this out here. Hit Iowa briefly and then, head home. But I'm just going to read their stats real quick, and we can kind of comment on who we want to comment on. Maybe we each take one of them. I don't know. Daniel Jacobson plays 17 minutes, played quite a bit because of foul trouble with other guys. 3 for 6. That was weird. He had that one stretch where he missed 2 wide open bunnies in a row, got the rebound, missed it. I'm like, dunk one of those, you crazy guy. But has 9 rebounds, 7 of those in the first half. I thought that was huge for us because nobody else was really getting a lot of rebounds, but he was so much bigger and taller than everyone out there. Did draw 3 fouls. I always like to see that from DJ. Had a couple awesome lobs. Only has 7 points. I got lost there for a second. And has a block. Thought it was a pretty efficient game from him. Benner goes 2 for 6, but he did hit those back-to-back threes in the first half when nobody else was doing really much of anything. One of them being from about 6 feet behind the line. Every ball that guy shoots feels like it's going in. At this point, he's gotten to that level, and I love to see that. Also had some really good passes in this game at certain points. I think you kind of see flashes of what he can do if he ever gets to 30, 35 minutes a game. I mean, I think he can be a true all-around basketball player. And then Omer goes 2 for 3, does hit his 3. I asked for that in the preview. Please hit your first shot. He does, and he ends up with having a good game. Another guy who didn't have any direct assists, but had quite a few hockey assists and setups for other guys, and thought he played great. Didn't have any turnovers. Was a +7. So our 2 highest plus minus guys are the 2 of the last 2 guys off the bench. Actually, 3 of our top was Jacobson, Harris, and Myers. So what are your guys' thoughts on them? Kind of hit on who you want to. We'll start with you, Dalton, this time. Just kind of hit on who you want to out of those 3 and anything you liked or didn't like.
DJ, just a DJ game. Like, he's got to get more confident on the block. Like, just, if you're going to take a hook shot, take a hook shot. Go into somebody. You're huge. You're 7'4". Just use that body, man. I was worried he was hurt when he held his wrist. Benter, those 3s fired us up.
Yeah.
He got us going when there was nothing going. And it lit Mackey up. Mackey woke up in the first half for the first time. So, yeah, that's all I got. Omer, not much. Just decent game. So,
yeah. Sam?
No, I'm with you. Omer, like I like him on the court. It's weird. His shots are gonna drop. I watched that kid in Tel Aviv. I watched the under 18 or the under 19s and all that stuff. Like, I thought he was fantastic. His shots are gonna drop. It's just a matter of time and a matter of opportunity for him. I would like to see what his stats are over 40, because he sometimes gets 10, he sometimes gets 20 minutes. Just kind of depends on the situation. But I liked his moments for sure. Jacobson, 9 rebounds. Love that. It's 20% of the rebounds in the game. So we talked about there wasn't a lot of love in that department for anybody to really excel or shine. So him getting 9 was big. But yeah, you're right, dude. It's like, eat a steak sandwich and get to that bucket, dude. It's like one of my biggest complaints about Edie his sophomore year is like, just dunk the ball.
Yeah.
Like your percentage is way up when you just dunk the damn ball. And he's got the arm length and the wingspan. He just needs, like, if he gains 25 pounds in the offseason, I think we got like Zach Edey Jr. here.
Yeah.
Benner, those 2 threes in the first half, you're 100% accurate. Lit Mackey up. is that's when, like it kind of got my kiddo's attention. Like he stopped screaming and just kind of like looking at the TV. He's like, what are we watching? Is somebody getting hurt? And I was like, yeah, it's Iowa. Um,
They're killing birds out there.
but and to your point, like he didn't score in the second half, but that he like that, bang bang pass that he wound up getting the assist on, but to Jakari finding him because he made that defense honest. Like they could have sagged back and let him shoot that, and that it could have been 2 for 6 from the 3-point line, but because he kept them honest, he got that pass off to Jakari, and Jakari hit that monster three. So I really like what we got off the bench. I mean, 21 points, 4 from 8 from the 3-point line, 8 for 17 from the floor. Was it 13, 14 rebounds? 11 rebounds. 11 rebounds out of 26 for the team. I mean, they damn near had 4 guys damn near had half the rebounds of a starting 5. It's like 2 guys are typically averaging double doubles. I mean, the bench really showed up for Purdue. And that's what we're going to need down the stretch, especially against teams like Michigan State, Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska. And then when we get into March, these guys are going to need to step up because Smith can't do 40 minutes a night. I know he can, but would you want that? So loved what I saw from the bench. I know I've kind of like showered Purdue with love. Like I talk about all these moments. If we could just erase the first 25, 30 minutes of this game and go off the last 10, some of the best basketball I've seen Purdue play. But my whole thing with them is like get off to these hot starts, and then when you're on their neck, step on it. So
yeah, it's
you know
been
what the crazy.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Derek. The craziest stat to me on KenPom, they break it down by quarters. We were tied at the end of quarter 3, so that would be with 10 minutes to go in the second half. So we're tied. I mean, for as bad as we played, that's nuts.
Yep.
It was a bad first half, down 3, and then somehow, I mean, that just blows my mind, dude. We are living in the greatest of times.
Yeah. It's weird as a Purdue fan, ain't it? Like to feel some optimism.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I was actually just telling Dalton kind of about this. Like, I've been interacting with a lot of Nebraska fans online, and they're kind of in a weird place where they're not used to caring about every game and being worried about every game. Like every game could be the worst loss of your season. Every game could disrupt your chance at a Big Ten title, at a potential 1 or 2, 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. And it's just funny to see a new fan base who's not used to success. Because Purdue was, for a while there, we weren't very good until we got the baby Boilers. And that was when I was in my like prime of being a college age kid. And so definitely liked what I saw. Purdue wins points off turnovers 16-8, points in the paint by 10. Fast break points were pretty much non-existent all the way around. But when a team like Iowa, and we'll get to Iowa really quickly here, shoots the way that they shot, gets the bounces that they got on a lot of those shots, which were just egregious. I don't know what Mackey did to those rims before the game, but those balls were bouncing all over the place and then going in the hoop. They had a banked in 3 from the logo. For all of that to unfold, for TKR to have a pretty stinker of a game, for Braden to have one of his worst halves in his career, and for Purdue to still, tie this game back up with 10 minutes left is really a testament to how many ways this team can win, because this was like a C game for Purdue, in my opinion. It was probably a B+ or an A- game for Iowa, maybe better, because they just shot the ball so well to start this game. I mean, they were 7 for 10 from 3, I believe, in the first half, and that's hard to beat no matter where you're playing. So was really impressed with Iowa. It kind of surprised me they haven't beaten a top 40 team. I think that they definitely will by the end of this year. So just really quick on Iowa, Bennett Sturts has 19 points. Cale Combs has 16. He really threw us for a loop on hitting some of those threes. So did Tavion Banks in the first half, hits back-to-back threes basically to start that game. Really outside of Sturts, the entire team shot incredibly well. He's the only guy that didn't shoot above 50%. When you have Tavion Banks and Cale Combs make 7 threes when they have 11 for the season between them, I mean, that's just something Purdue's going to live with. There's discourse around it, whether that's good or bad. Yes. But you're gonna live with that if that's your game plan. I did thought that Manu, whatever his name is pronounced, was pretty good in this game. But honestly, I just didn't like this is my biggest takeaway from Iowa. Good team, good players. Didn't like their mannerisms, the way they handled themselves, or really even just the way that they played. Just thought that they're kind of all whiny complainers. That Fulgaris guy complained almost every single time something happened, threw his hands up, got dramatic, cried about it. What were your guys' thoughts on Iowa? Obviously credit to them. They played a hell of a basketball game.
Go ahead, Sam. Jump in,
Yeah.
man.
Manyawu, I like his game. He's not huge, but he's not small. He's just just a solid ball player. I thought like their role players. They had 7 guys make threes that don't normally make threes. They had like 4 bounce all the way around the rim. They had a bank shot go in. It was like this was a plucky A performance for this Iowa team. Compared to what I would call like a D for Purdue up until the last 10 minutes. And then you saw Purdue's A game just kind of put them away. I mean, Iowa never stopped playing a plucky A game, but Purdue just kind of like, oh yeah, we're Purdue. But one thing you mentioned earlier, Derek, is I really, Ben Sturtz is a great player. And McCollum has every reason in the world to love having him. At the end of the day, I feel like the conversation was kind of put to bed. Sturtz did have a good second half. He did outscore Braden Smith. It took him 15 shots to do it. Braden Smith was far and away more efficient. Braden Smith
didn't take a three. Braden didn't take a three.
Did not take a single
9.
Yeah, took 9. Hit 2 of them, and one of them was a prayer. So, but I felt like that put the conversation to bed. I don't like Iowa basketball. I never really have. We never like. Have you guys ever been to Iowa to watch a game?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, they have some of the worst fans. And it's not
we experienced that.
Yeah,
we were sitting right behind the families, and we were getting into it with them. One of the parents told a lady to suck it. They kept getting told by security to sit down because this 7-foot tall guy wouldn't sit the F down, and wasn't a great interaction with them.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with it, the fact it's like Indiana on its side out there. It's just like they want to be upright like us, and they just hate it when anybody from Indiana shows up. I caught a game there a handful of years ago, and it's the older folks. It's the parents. It's like the old season ticket holders out there. They're just awful human beings. So, and I to me, I associate their players with it. So when they bitch, I think of the old people that sit 3 rows away from the court and, cry about damn near everything, and then talk shit to players that, like are 40 years younger than them, and, can if they decided to come up there, it'd be over in a heartbeat. But
run our test, baby.
Run our test, go full full malice there. But this Iowa team, it's still a quad 1 win. They're still, they're top 25 in KenPom. They're not a joke. They're just not getting big wins. And like at the end of the day, like I still feel like they have a mid-major coach with a mid-major star. And what the difference is we have a Big Ten coach with a Big Ten star.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten star remembered, in the second half is like, hey, I can do whatever the hell I want to this boy. And he did. So, but credit to Iowa. I thought, like I said, I hate to use the word again. It was a plucky A game for Iowa.
Right. Yeah, Dalton, final thoughts for you on Iowa, and then we'll get to like our players of the game, final thoughts, and get out of here.
I don't like Iowa, man. I'm in the same boat as you, Sam. Their fans were rude. I was going back and forth with a couple of them, man. Like, I wish it would have gotten malice. I'm that kind of guy, but I'm not afraid of it. We'll have some fun. But their players are the same way. I think they're a extension of their coach. McCollum, a full timeout, not a 30. He stood there with the official the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't appreciate that, dude. Just play the game and let the officials call it. Like everybody knows Celtics sucks. Like, I mean, everyone knows that. But I don't know. Just wasn't. Sturts is a baller. Everybody knows this. Like, he's a good player. He was in a bag of cocks last night. That's Derek's trademark, is putting him in a bag of cocks. So, yeah, he was in there. And outside of that, man, they were just throwing up junk. It was the Purdue effect, man, where people just hit shots they shouldn't, and it was booty ball. That's what I call it. It's straight booty ball, and I hope we go in and 25-piece them when we go to Iowa. I just don't like this team. Like, they don't play the game the right way. They're dirty. They try to play physical defense, and they were getting away with a lot last night. I don't like that. They had 20 fouls overall to our 15, but it could have easily been 28-15. Like, that's how I felt the entire game. It's like, you cannot hand check, body check people the entire time you're guarding them around the 3-point arc. Like, that's not basketball, man. But it was what it was. Purdue walks away. I'm proud to be a Boiler, as always. We balled out. We made it happen, and let's move forward to USC.
Yeah, you hit on it. I noticed that McCollum was on the refs nonstop from start to finish, and it's funny because then the game ended, and I get on Twitter, and the entire fan base is complaining about the refs, and I'm like, oh, so you guys just see your coach do it, and you're like, it's kind of like the UConn fan base being completely unbearable when their coach is also completely unbearable, and most of the Purdue fan base being relatively smart and calm-headed, because that's what our coach does. It happens a lot. It's kind of weird. It's like a mother and a child, or a father and a child. So let's get to players of the game. Sam, you're the guest today. So again, Sam is from Bench Points. So check them out when you're done here. Go give them a look. And who's your player of the game? Give us a brief little, reason why, or whatever you want to say about him.
Yeah. Real quick, again, thanks for having me.
100%, man.
Again, I'm Sam from Bench Points. We cover a lot, and sometimes it's a whole bunch of stuff you don't want to hear. So just hit the fast forward button to the spot you want to watch. But yeah, my player of the game, like, I go back and forth, because there's I want to say Oscar Cluff, because like he got physical when it needed to be physical. They have Fulgaris, who was bitching about every call or every not call. The 3 fouls Oscar Cluff got, like, he made the people who bitched about him. It's like, okay, maybe that other one wasn't a foul, because I just felt what a foul was. But it's got to be Smith. He's the KenPom MVP. What he did in the second half, again, texting my buddies from Bench Points during this one. This was the second half of the Houston Sweet 16 game. Braden Smith just decided the game was over. And like, when he turned around and he was like, the crowd was loud, but it wasn't loud enough for Braden, and he got him up. And you, like, if you watch the slow-mo of that, you could see, like, he's like, get the fuck up, guys. Like we're doing this. And then at that point, like, it didn't matter what Iowa hit or what they didn't hit or what they did defensively. You knew we were going to win that game because Braden Smith put us on our back. And those are the things you can't measure on a stat sheet. You can't, it's not a tangible thing. It's just something that just happens. And Braden Smith is like, he's that Purdue guy with that Purdue shit to him, where he plays hard, he works hard, and he like changes the outcome of games. And this is why I give my MVP to Braden Smith.
Love that. Did you see the photo afterwards of him doing like the ollie knockout?
Yeah, it was tough as nails.
That was sick. I saw Boiled Sports had it on their thumbnail. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Dalton, who's your player of the game?
Let's go. You already know. Don't even say it. I don't even have to say it. It's my man, the man from down under, Oscar Cluff, man. Every game, just give it away. He's the man. He changes games. He changes the way other teams play. He sets hard screens. He does the little things. He gets boards. He gets putbacks. all the things I love. I want to see grit. I want to see grime. I want to see Grady Eifert on the floor. And that is Oscar Cluff this year. And I love it. And I hope he gets another year. By God, I hope he gets
Give him another year. Bro.
Yeah.
Give him another year.
100%.
You got anything else on Oscar?
No, that you
Yeah, I
know
mean,
it. You know
you're
it.
running out of
Everybody
things to
knows
say when
it.
you pick him every damn game, dude.
I've been saying it.
No, you have. You've been on the Oscar train for a long time, and I appreciate you for that. So you guys, okay, you took them. I'm going to go with CJ Cox. I think that in this game, and I asked for it before the game, I wanted him to be my player of the game, and he did enough to be it. I believe he had 7 points in the final 3 minutes, 4 free throws and a 3-pointer. Just every time that anything is asked of that man, he does it. And I'm assuming he does it without any sort of hesitation, without any sort of complaining. When you hear him speak at the podium, sometimes he's the nicest, like soft-spoken guy you'll ever listen to. But then he gets on a basketball court and he's just a vicious animal bulldog out there. Just thought everything that he did in this game was exactly what we would have asked for him. He scores 9 points, 7 of them being at the end of the game. When it mattered most, he showed up. In the first half, he said, hey, I'm going to guard Bennett Sturts and I'm going to put him in a basket and he's not going to get to do anything. And he did that. And I was just really impressed with everything CJ Cox did in this game and everything he's been doing now for a month and a half. It's just been impressive to see. And the good thing is he's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore. He's just going to keep getting better. And I think he's incredibly young. I believe he just turned 19.
Yeah, he's a young kid.
He's going to keep getting better and better and better. And I think by year 3 next year, even year 4, senior CJ Cox is going to be something you don't want to mess with if you're from the opposing team. So was really impressed with that. We'll run to our final thoughts. Plug whatever you want to plug here, Sam. Say whatever you want to say, and then we'll get out of here and appreciate everybody. But we'll let Sam go last here. Dalton, what do you have to say?
Boiler up, baby. Keep winning. Do whatever it takes. Get the dubs. Fight, get dirty, get nasty. Cluff it up if you gotta. That's all I'm gonna say. If you love the show, like and subscribe per usual. Share this with your cousin's friend. That's what I got, baby.
Appreciate you. I'll say my piece and then let Sam go. Just want to say thank you again to everybody who watches the show. We really, really appreciate you. We've been getting a lot of comments and stuff. Love that. Love to interact with you guys, hear your opinions. This is a show where we talk probably too much and would love to hear from everybody. It's why we like to bring guys like Sam on and other people on. We do have an awesome special guest that will be coming before the IU game. Not somebody you probably expect. But somebody that's going to bring an entirely new angle to how we look at Purdue, and somebody that I'm sure you've seen through the Twitter space for what he does with graphics and analytics. So really excited for that. Big win for Purdue, 6-0 in the Big Ten. Don't know when the last time was we were 6-0 in the Big Ten, but I know that it's been a long time. Got a West Coast trip coming up that's extremely important for this team. If we win both of those, we're in the driver's seat. And we got Illinois at home, which is another big game coming up. So really excited for this next 2-week stretch. It's probably going to decide the Big Ten, if we're all being honest. And I think Purdue's in a great position. We got to clean a couple things up. Couple mid-level opponents on the West Coast, but they are away from home. So go out there, handle business, do what you need to do, and continue winning games even when you play poorly. That's my message. And again, thank you, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for coming on, brother. We really appreciate you coming on for real. It's been a good time. We're gonna have to do this again for real. It's been nice to have a third perspective. I know I'm very critical of everything, and Derek's more level-headed, so it's nice to have a third piece in here to change the game. So the floor is yours, brother. Give the people what you got.
Yeah, don't let my optimism here fool you guys. I'm a pessimistic Purdue fan just like everybody else, right? I bleed black and gold. To anybody watching this, if you haven't liked and subscribed to this podcast, please do so. They got some cool editing with their graphics in the background. Their wrap to open this thing up is awesome. I'm a recent subscriber. Love everything these guys are doing. One of the best Purdue podcasts that's out there right now.
Appreciate
so
that. Thank you.
Love that you guys are growing and how fast you guys are growing. So anything that Bench Points can do, obviously we don't have a huge following yet, but we're still plugging away because we like talking basketball. So If you want to check out Bench Points, just come check us out. But if you're here and you're watching these guys, you're in the right spot. This is good college basketball talk, especially for any Boilers. And to close it out, boiler up, hammer down, get on the floor, get dirty, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Appreciate it, everybody.
Hey, take care.
Thanks, Sam.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.